I guess the top question I have is if the decision to appoint Lord Mandelson as ambassador warrants heads to roll in number 10, is it enough for the person that collated the advice to go and not the person that made the final decision?
I'm incredibly biased because I believe that the person that can sort violence against women and girls in all its forms is absolutely the Prime Minister. I believe him when he told me that he knew barely any of this at the time. The papers will come out over the next few days, well, over the coming weeks, and there will be more information and we'll know exactly then what the Prime Minister did and didn't know. But I believe him when he tells me that he had no idea about this. When he did find out in September, he sacked Mandelson straight away. And my goodness, if he had any idea of the information that we hold now, then there's no way that Peter Mandelson would have been in place.
But, well, just that I think you're alluding to some of his what appears to be his leaks around sensitive information as business secretary. But to the point about violence against women and girls, the Prime Minister himself has acknowledged he knew the man that he appointed to be ambassador maintained a relationship with a convicted paedophile.
Yes, and that relationship was absolutely played down. The Prime Minister's made it really clear that he knew what was in the public domain, but Peter Mandelson told him that they were acquaintances, they didn't see or have much to do with each other. We just didn't know then what we know now. And the reason that I feel so strongly and I'm here today is because we look around the world and there are prime ministers that do not care about violence against women and girls in the same way that our Prime Minister does. His commitment has been absolutely unwavering. This was a huge mistake, one that, your headlines are showing is having horrendous consequences for him. But I want him to stay in place. I don't believe that he should go over it because there's so much more to do around violence against women and girls. He appointed 2 women into Morgan McSweeney's position last night. He has I want to see us go further and faster. We've already done so much on Vogue. If you are one of the 200 women that are raped today, you can go to a police station. There'll be a specialist officer there. We're tackling the courts so that you don't have 5 years of trauma. And then we're sorting out prisons so that the perpetrator can actually serve the sentence. It's so hard to make shame change sides. But you can only do that if you have a Prime Minister that is absolutely on the side of victims. I believe that Keir Starmer is, and that's why I want him to stay in place.
Yeah, I think it's just interesting that is the number one issue for you, and yet I think at the heart of this is the fact that your government appointed a friend of a paedophile into a position. So it's just almost sort of slightly ironic, not to mention other questions around the speed and extent and remit of inquiries into the grooming gangs issues and the like. But I guess there's another issue to move on to that I think is at the heart of all of this as well. Put aside the decision to get rid of your chief of staff to try and protect your own skin is the question about whether MPs do still back the Prime Minister. The vote last week was incredibly damaging to him. Do you think he still has the authority of the party, the parliamentary party?
I've been genuinely shocked by the support that he has. So there have been people that have not always voted with the government that have been messaging me over the weekend saying they feel very strongly that he should stay. And it's one of the reasons they feel it is because of the overwhelming and surprising message that we're getting back from the constituency. When I've been out this weekend, the things they've been telling me is, Duck, you've got to support him, he's got to stay in place. I did some media last night and I got messages off the back of that as well saying thank you for speaking out. The emails I've had in my inbox of people I've never heard from before saying we need to stay with him. What's happened is that we've all been scarred by years and years of absolute chaos. We've seen our mortgages go up. We've all felt let down. We haven't been able to deliver. So I want us to stay with Keir Starmer, but so do the constituents and the wider party. The most frustrating thing is that we're doing some incredible things in government. Just last Tuesday, I got to vote to take kids out of my area out of poverty. That's absolutely unbelievable, but nobody's listening to us because this story is rightly at the front and centre. we've now had a resignation. I want the Prime Minister to double down on his commitment to victims, which I know that he holds so dear. And then I want us to continue to deliver for victims, but also for people up and down the country that desperately need a Labour government that's competent, stable and functioning well.
I guess just the final question, Natalie, is I totally get the messages you must be getting from your constituents who obviously matter enormously. But on the MPs, why did they not back the Prime Minister last week on a matter of unbelievable personal importance to him if they genuinely still support him?
I think he was backed last week. I loved it Wednesday. There was absolute cross-party consensus that we needed full disclosure. There can't be any kind of cover-up around what happened.
But that was forcing the government to change their amendment. So they didn't back.
It's our job as
wanted.
backbench MPs to make sure that we get into a position that is right. There was cross-party consensus that we needed to get there. The debate was a strong and lively one. We got to the right place, and we'll have a full picture of what happened when all of those documents are released. I am totally loyal to the Prime Minister, and I felt very strongly that we should support that motion last week, as we did.
Natalie, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.